When you think of a horror story, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably haunted houses, right? Or maybe some shadowy monster or a supernatural curse. But what if I told you the most terrifying stories aren't fiction at all? Today, we're going to dissect a totally new kind of horror, one that's way more personal and a whole lot more unsettling. So, what really truly makes a story scary in our modern world? Well, the answer has definitely changed. It's evolved way beyond just things that go bump in the night. True terror, as we're about to see, comes from the violation of the ordinary, the familiar, and the places we believe are supposed to be safe. And this is the key difference right here. Classic horror, it relies on these external, fantastical threats. Ghosts, ghouls, whatever. But modern horror, it finds its power right in your own neighborhood. The monster is a real person. The haunted house is your own home. And the scariest part of all, the events are completely, terrifyingly unexplained. And that idea brings us right to our first theme, the suburban nightmare. The reason these stories are so effective is because they totally subvert our deepest assumptions about safety and what's normal. I mean, think about it. The terror here isn't happening in some remote, spooky location. It's happening in places we're supposed to feel the most secure. A quiet suburban street, a college dorm room, the family home you grew up in. The real power of these stories is that chilling realization that, yeah, this could happen to anyone, anywhere. And this whole idea of violating a safe space, well, that brings us to the core concept of the home itself and what happens when that sanctuary is breached. We all think of our home as a sanctuary, right? It's the one place in the entire world where we can lock the door and feel protected from everything outside. It's our refuge. But the stories we're looking at today just completely shatter that fundamental sense of security. Okay, just imagine this moment of violation. You're outside your own home, maybe in your pool, you think you're completely safe. Then you look through your window into your living room and you see it. A shadow, a person. Inside your sanctuary. In that single instant, your entire world just turns upside down. Or how about this one? A sound you hear every single day, the garage door opening, suddenly becomes a signal of pure dread. The person telling this story is home alone. His parents are away for the weekend, his brother's out of town. So who just opened the garage? In a heartbeat, a familiar, comforting sound becomes the announcement of an invasion. So this is where the fear really escalates dramatically. It's not just that someone broke in. It's that these intruders seem to have this impossible, intimate knowledge of their victims' lives. I mean, just look at this breakdown. It's insane. A fake nurse calls a woman knowing not just her mother's name and address, but the specific details of a recent hip surgery. Burglars hit a house knowing the exact weekend the entire family is gone. A total stranger walks up to a guy at a party and just casually name drops his girlfriend's parents, asking if they're home. This is not random. It's calculated. It's deeply personal.
So how? How did they know all this? Was it a friend, a relative who just let something slip? Or was it someone watching the house for weeks? The most terrifying part is we never find out. That gaping hole where the answer should be, that's where the real horror lives.
And that brings us to the next layer of this thing, the intruders themselves. Their actions aren't what you'd expect from a typical criminal. They're bizarre, they're irrational, and they seem designed for maximum psychological terror. So take that case of the woman who was lured out by the fake call about her mother. The intruders had the entire house to themselves, and what did they take? They left the TV, they left the laptop, but they stole family photos right out of their frames and emptied out prescription bottles. This wasn't about money. It feels sadistic, like the whole point was to unsettle and invade on this deeply personal level. And this detail, this is so chilling. After one of the break-ins, the victim comes home to find that nothing of major value is taken, but every single kitchen knife is gone. That's not a rational theft. It feels like a message, a threat left behind to just haunt the residents long after the intruder is gone. This might be the most surreal example of them all. A man is pounding on the door, claiming the house is his, and to prove it, he shows the current resident a folder with a fake lease and recent photos on his phone of himself inside the house, sitting on the victim's furniture. It's an assault on reality itself, making the victim question his own sanity.
So all of this bizarre personal terror, it all builds to the final and honestly the most crucial element of modern horror, the complete and total lack of resolution.
In every single one of these true accounts, the number of suspects identified or caught is zero. A big, fat zero. There are no answers. There's no justice. There's no closure. The police investigate, the trail goes cold, and the victims are left completely in the dark. See, the event itself is terrifying, sure, but the real, lasting fear, that comes from the aftermath. It lives in the unanswered questions. Who were they? How did they know so much about me? And the big one, will they come back? That uncertainty, that is a psychological wound that never fully heals.
And that's what really defines this new anatomy of horror. It's not about some monster in the closet anymore. It's about the terrifying possibility that the monster knows your name, has a key to your door, and will leave you with nothing but questions. It makes you wonder, as you sit in your own home, your doors are locked, but are you sure you're alone?